Oh, okay. This, my system's acting weird. Alright, hopefully. For some reason, my video recording capabilities is kind of stinted. Might be because of things. So I'm on Lucio. We're gonna be watching this person. So immediately I already have a problem. It's not much of a problem, but like you kind of wasted a little bit of resource. You'll get it back immediately, but like so it doesn't really matter. But I just don't like it. It's just a personal thing. But you're gonna have it back immediately. So immediately you step out. I've already watched this before, and you fade and you miss this. But the thing is, it's like normally as a support you don't want to go out first because if you get picked, well then that's GG. But you jump over and fade, and our Winston drops his bubble, which is fine. So just kind of like make sure you throw this damage orb, which I like because there is no reason for you to heal yet, and also like you have a really high chance of killing the Hanzo if somebody manages to land one more hit on him. Let's see, he got really low. I think D.Va ate it, so we're just sitting here. Our ball's positioning is kind of hat. So we'll do it later. Another damage orb. So one thing I will say. Okay. So you end up killing Hanzo right there. DPSing. Good job healing Winston back up. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that last fight, what I would have done, let's see if we can go back 20 seconds. So you want a DPS, like, and I don't have a problem with that. This will heal you. So you throw your orb out, you heal yourself. So you kill him, and you still want a DPS a little bit more. You want a DPS this D.Va, right? What I would have done, instead of just throwing it like that, is I would have, like, because I already knew the hamster was half, if you've been paying attention, I would have turned, so that way it aims more towards points, that way the initial healing still gets onto me, and you could have bounced it off that telephone booth right here. And then like it could have come back and like healed your hamster. And so what that would have done was you would have healed yourself, and you also would have healed your ball, and you would have gotten more ult charge. So you would have gone from, what did that give you? So you're at 68. That orb would still been in play. You probably could have gotten to 75 pretty easily. Just like small optimizations like that. But that's fine. We don't lose anybody else, and you kill the Ana pretty quickly. Well, we all kill the Ana pretty quickly. So, D.Va comes back. She was thrown. So I do like the damage orb usage, so you can kill the baby D.Va pretty quickly.
I'm on fire.
Really good. Our Winston should not have done that. Feel very So, this is another nitpick. You could have saved the Winston. You hesitated. You could have just came straight out the fade, and like you already knew you wanted to do healing. Well, you should have known that you wanted to do healing, just because you were like you could see that he's already taken damage. So, as soon as you see like, see, so you kill D.Va. Alright, so we're sitting here. So I don't know how many actual support mains actually use this, but when you see, like, you can see the Ashe right now through the wall, she's green. If you see the character is green, that means they're at full health. That means they don't need any help with supports whatsoever. Then we're gonna see a change. So
you'd be wise to stay
you see the Winston right now. Winston is yellow. That means he has sustained damage already. That means he needs healing. So that's another thing you can do. So that way you can just like optimize your decisions before you get there. It's like, oh, well my tank needs healing. So that way you don't have that hesitation of like, oh, looking at his health bar and thinking, do I need to heal him or not? So you already know he's taking damage. as soon as you land, yeah, just like, I don't know. I don't think the orb would have anything, but it's just that slight bit of hesitation. One thing I did do earlier when I was watching this was I did like the amount of time that you use fade. Okay, so you stayed on cart. That's funny. This is definitely going into the video. 4 seconds. Winston saves us. Oh, so Winston saves you guys. I get around the wall. I'm around the wall when that goes off. Winston was absolutely like clutch with that. Like really clutch with that bubble. Guess you guys were all dead.
That's not right.
Okay.
Surrender to my will.
That's one of the things I wanted to bring up too. So, I like the coalescence. You could have killed the Zenyatta there. I think you kill him later. There you go. You kill him later. You could have killed them earlier though. But one thing that I noticed that you didn't do very often is you didn't combo your healing orb or your damage orb with like coalescence. Like if you do that, like let's say you wanted to use like coalescence exclusively for like DPS, but you still wanted to heal the team, you could throw a healing orb out in like the direction of the fight. So like, let's see, it would have been pretty difficult for you to have done that, like because there was the payload right in front of you, but like taking an extra couple seconds, maybe even using a fade to do it. So you heal, hamster up. You gotta do this thing. There you go. So when you I'm gonna say that was really expertly done. I'm really impressed with Winston. Alright, so right here, you can use fade.
Surrender to my will.
What I would have done was I would have used fade, came out over here, throwing an orb, like a damage orb, like like a healing orb. Usually whenever I use my coalescence orb combination, I usually use a damage orb because coalescence is like usually enough to heal like it's usually enough to heal throughout it, and you just want that extra damage normally. So like you could have faded over here, that would have given you the extra second for your cooldown to come off. Could have thrown a damage orb, cut right through here, and you could have like beamed everybody down at the same time, and you would have done double damage. You would have done double damage with your coalescence and orb on a single target instead of like just a coalescence damage. So like little optimizations like that. So you come out, and like as soon as like you start going through like the enemy team, you want to find like low health targets and like beam them down immediately, like and relentlessly. I don't know if you target Winston or not, but see, Zenyatta kind of got away. That's fine because you find him later. You should have gotten more aggressive. You kind of like sit on the payload for a bit.
Cease your resistance.
Barrier this. So this was a pretty clean coalescence. Other than that, and another thing is, it's like you would have like had another damage orb or a healing orb like immediately coming out of coalescence, because like coalescence lasts the entirety of the cooldown for your orb. So you would have come straight out and you would have been able to apply more damage. So like that's a good combo. Like damage orb, coalescence, damage orb. Like you could do like some pretty massive damage, especially on a map like King's Row, where there's like very little, there's like small corridors. And so damage orb, I do like that because everybody's low. Where's Winston? So after that, I would have, if I were you, instead of turning around to go deal with D.Va, I would have probably come over through here to come heal your Winston, because your Winston's like kind of out there and needs healing. So I noticed that you very much like to, like, whoever's near you, you're gonna try to deal with, which isn't bad. Like you're constantly looking at your back line, you're constantly making sure that people behind you are healed. But I've noticed that there's like a distinct neglect. Like, but the thing is, so your playstyle is really weird, because when you're attacking, like, you're very much like in the fight with your main tank. You're very much like getting that damage in. But like when you're defending, it's like a completely, your playstyle like completely changes. But like if you had like, even if you had like thrown an orb bounced it off through here, you could have like healed your Winston while he was sleeping in here.
I've
But
got
I don't
you
even
in
think
my
they know who's in there.
sights.
So we tacked by this. That was a waste of points. Yeah.
Not
So right now you're just kind of like damaging. Oops. So you're just kind of like attacking this. There wasn't no way you were gonna save the Winston there. So the damage orb comes out, which is fine. We already know like the enemy's low. Our Winston called it out. I don't know. So our Winston at this point called out that the enemy was low. When he called it out, it was, but then like I saw the biotic grenade come out from enemy Ana, and I called off like the chase because I didn't want us to get staggered. Good fade. That was a really nice fade to dodge that. You probably would have got killed. Another damage orb. Yeah. So soldier's fine. Heal. There you go. Heal. So that orb went nowhere. I know you know that.
injured again. This is going to hurt. Not
Stop
ready.
healing. Awesome. Yeah, go ahead and attack Brig. Attack Diva. That placement was a lot better. That placement was a lot better on that orb. I would suggest if you don't already do this to like practice like where you place your weapon. Push forward. No. Oh no. You look right. Oh, you have coalescence. That's awesome. So one thing I'm noticing is you like damage orb more so I would use, if I were you, I would use your healing orb more. So with like the healing orb, it's like I'm not sure if you're really familiar with like cookbook or not, but it's like fix it and forget it. It's like a crockpot recipe kind of cookbook thing. And so like as soon as you get everything prepped, it's like you just leave it alone. That's kind of like with the orb. If you throw the orb and you have it on like a trajectory or like a path that'll make it come back to your team, like you can like damage this diva and like you can still be healing the team, so that way you don't have to look around, because the orb has a radius of who it'll heal. So it's like as it's passing by people, it'll slow down and it'll heal everybody in that area. And so now you don't have to like look around and then like lose like your sense of like your area, like your spatial awareness. So like yeah,
Surrender to my will.
I always did like doing that, fading into coalescence. I don't know, that's just always such a cool. Good job. Oh yeah, you're gonna die for that. So close. That does show good map awareness, though. I do like that. Their diva was incredibly aggressive. I should have gone brick earlier.
When faced with a
That's fine.
setback, we must challenge our assumptions.
Okay. I would have thrown a healing orb.
I will draw the strength from your body.
Good pick.
I'm on fire.
I was planning on switching anyway, so that was a battle on my part. So
The power of destruction.
you are really aggressive. So when you attack, you're really aggressive, but on defense, like your playstyle is completely changing, and that's what I was going for. Back off. You're trying to destroy the supercharger, which is okay. It's just not optimal. I like that orb.
Surrender to my will.
Again, healing orb or damage orb into coalescence. I like that. There you go. Focus on it. So
Will made real.
I would say, like, just more optimization. Like, never focus your coalescence on like a tank unless there is already direct pressure on them. So like here, like the Orisa was safe behind her little shield, and like Orisa was safe. Like Orisa was safe behind her shield. We didn't have any damage directly getting on her, and like she has armor, so like all that damage was being mitigated. Also, she had the Ana, so a better application of using your coalescence would have been to shoot the Ana like the entire time. It took you a second, but you finally started targeting her, but it was like a bit too late. Like you could have pressured her even more, and then after coming out of that, throw like the damage orb at the Ana, and Ana would have been like quarter health by now. Instead of like Orisa being at full health and Ana being 3/4. So, like, for Moira, like, you don't want to be battling tanks. You want to be battling, like, if you can, like, the most annoying Moiras are the Moiras that go DPS and kill the supports. Because, like, there's not a lot of supports that can counter Moira. Like, especially, like, whenever you're using Coalescence and a damage orb. Because there's no way for us to really stop it. So, go after the nice squishy supports whenever you DPS.
Injured again.
So declare a Hanzo. You're damaging shields. So if you ever come to a situation under the shield, like don't even bother. Don't even bother damaging your shield.
Die, die, die.
This will heal you.
Nice fade.
Team up for special attack.
We're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that. Moving on. Get a nice little reprieve.
Hey, precision Swedish engineering.
Coalescence is
What do
charging.
you think you're doing? My ultimate is charging. I've got you covered.
Time to the ledge.
Ooh. So this would have been one of those interesting situations where you should have actually thrown a damage orb. I'm surprised you didn't, actually. So had you thrown a damage orb into this room, like Reaper's already TPing there, he's gonna get flash Van to hammer. But had you thrown a damage orb in there, it would have gone in here, bounced all around. McCree would have been forced to use this health pack early, like before he wanted to, and maybe even like, and then he probably would have missed Reaper.
From the shadow.
Oh, Reaper got it. So he didn't even have it. So like, it would have, like, you could have easily like, oh no, he didn't get it. Yeah, so your damage orb, like throwing a damage orb into this room would have gotten you like a nice bit of ult charge. It would have gotten you the rest of your ult charge right here. You might have been able to kill the McCree with the Reaper. But he gets stunned. He's gonna get shot. He's gonna die there. So like the damage orb would have helped the Reaper kill the McCree. So like long range damage orb, not a bad idea. Like especially like, I know you did this a few times with like, I think her Ashe, like she was always like standing up here and you just threw long range healing orbs. Like long range damage orbs are like just as effective, because now what you would have done is you would have zoned out this area. You would have made it like unhospitable. Like the McCree wouldn't have wanted to stay in this room with the damage orb because he would have likely have died. So yeah, let's go back to you.
Surrender to my will.
Cease your resistance.
I like that you focused down the supercharger. Another thing I noticed that you kind of did, or another thing, I don't know if you're intentionally doing this, but like you're using your main tank as a pivot point to like damage things, which is really, really nice. So like you're getting the healing benefit done while also doing damage. Kind of like that.
I will rebuild you.
You don't look at your main tank very often, do you? I just noticed that. When you're attacking, you don't look at your main tank at all.
I am unstoppable.
Help me.
Nerf this. Allah teammate.
That was just unlucky on my part. There was no way you were gonna save me.
Cellular structure.
Nice fade. Good pick.
The power of destruction.
So, I do like the frequency with which you're using your damage orb, healing orb. There's no real downtime to it.
Getting freeze.
Heal, heal, heal. There you go.
Get into position.
That's great.
I'm restoring you.
Wait,
Surrender to my will.
break. Hard focus break. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. I like that.
Team up for special
Ana,
attack.
you could have put some pressure on Ana.
Engine again.
Oh yeah.
I will draw the strength.
I feel unstoppable.
Arisa saved your butt. So the reason why you didn't die was because so McCree takes each individual shot, so there is ample time for you to dodge it if you aren't the first or second person to be targeted, and Arisa's like saved you like hardcore from that. Or maybe it might have actually been your positioning too, because you're kind of behind the thing. You're kind of behind this wall, so you would have been out of his line of sight. Yeah, you're out of his line of sight. So like, I don't know. I think it's a combination of both your positioning. I don't know. You probably got lucky.
Cease your resistance.
You saved your Arisa. I mean, I think you did. Awesome. Healing orb.
This will improve your condition.
It's now or never.
This is gonna be a pretty long review.
Score
So yeah,
0
like really
to
awesome.
3.
I doing
Switching sides.
lots of damage done. You've always had your ult, which is really good, which shows that there was very little downtime.
Initiating
Like you
match.
didn't allow for a lot of downtime. So yeah, good healing. I think yeah. So first round, you were out healing by me by 1.5k, which is not bad. If I had switched to maybe Baptiste, I probably could have caught you. But honestly, there's no real honest way I was gonna catch up to you.
I could have used a little more time. I was only trying to help.
Attackers incoming in 30
I'm still in the
seconds.
brig. Except I'm pretty sure we're anticipating a Libra.
Please move behind the barrier.
So, as a general rule of thumb, I never position here as the main support, just because, like, I'm just going to show you why. This team wasn't very adept at it, but in case one of them was actually a pretty good Widow, like, as soon as, like, these gates open, like, you're not covered by his shield at all. So, like,
5, 4,
you are now.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
I pop
Defend
out.
Objective A.
And then there you are, standing right out in the open for a nice little headshot. So usually where I position, where I have my main tank position is over here. And the reason why we usually, like, especially in higher play, like higher ranks, like you guys position here is that way Widow doesn't have that nice little sight line that can go over and shoot you, and also so you can hide around this wall. So you can hide around this wall and do all the healing you need to do in like this general area right here, which is where you guys want to fight. And it also creates like a funnel, or the enemy team has to bounce around to come here, but guess what? You're already set up like right here. Or if they decide to bum rush through here, if they decide to bum rush through here, like all your main tank has to do is just turn around and set up here, and you're already in a position to like heal from like right here, and you're still safe from a sniper. There is no like massive rotation. So that's why I kind of like playing here. But I'm pretty sure we make it work but it works out because they don't have any like long range DPS, which is really nice for us. Excuse me. So we all get pulled. We're gonna go back to your perspective. So you held down. I don't know if you. I don't know. The timing makes me believe you held down your fade button after you got hooked. If you did that, awesome. If you didn't know that was a thing, well now you do. Heal, heal. Back line. So in this particular matchup, you should have been going. You should have let me deal with Reaper and you deal with Genji.
Get into position.
That would have been an optimal. That would have been optimal.
This is my will.
Nice damage orb. So now you
I
have
will
coalescence.
rebuild you.
Ooh, I don't know if you actually did this, but there is one thing I wanted to point out. Calling out how much healing resource you have is like really amazing for tanks. So after you left, like the tanks were like really happy with like how much shot calling you were doing. There was just like one thing as a support main that I noticed that you didn't really do, which is call out how much healing you have. So if you're like, the difference is like you're at half healing resource versus like where you are right now, allows the tank to know how aggressive they can get, or as I like to say, how stupid they can be while still being able to be bailed out. Because like if we had a Reinhardt could like, or we're running in a Risa, and Risa does not require as much resources, so it allows you as the Moira to be more greedy. But if you were running a Reinhardt is not like, is a very resource heavy tank. So like Reinhardt's like absolutely need to hear from like the Ana and the Moira like how much of a resource they have left, so that way they know what they can and can't do. So like at this point you call out, hey, I have no healing resource, but I have like my biotic orb, the orb and coalescence are online, like something like that, to let the tank know like, hey, like this is like where we're at as far as healing is concerned, so that way there is no misunderstanding of like what they can and can't do. Because like one of the main reasons why like people get tilted with supports is like they don't realize when they are and are not like capable of healing them. So like just like not having that gap is like is nice. So that would have been ugly had you deflected that.
Surrender to my will.
Like coalescence, wall. At this point you should be looking for immortality field, because it's very obvious that the Risa has it, and you're not going to be able to burn her down or kill her. All you're doing is feeding the enemy Baptiste and Ana ult charge. So this is meaningless damage right now. Or you could have found somebody on our team to heal. So like always look around. That's one thing I'm noticing that you're not doing very often. Like look around. Use audio.
This will improve your condition.
So. Look around a lot. Look around very often. And maybe turn your sensitivity up a little bit so you can do quick checks. So, we win this fight. We win this fight. I'm going to go back the last 20 seconds, I think, and I'm going to show you my perspective. And I think I look around a lot after I finish this duel.
That's how you do it. Step off. Roll it to me.
No, that's just me going in like an idiot. I need to find a better.
It was only to be expected.
Alright, so no, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything of the sort there. What? I'll do it again whenever you teabag. Wow, that disrespect. I would have thrown the damage orb. You had time. You had downtime. You would have gotten no charge. You probably would have gotten 80%. That's one of the more surprising times that you didn't actually throw an orb.
Get in there, Bob.
So downtime like this, like your orbs don't matter. Like you would have had ult already had you thrown your damage orb in. Throw damage orb. Damage, damage, damage.
Will restore you.
Okay.
I will unmake you.
So like massive amounts of damage coming through, like right there, would have like you could have seen wiped them. So
Surrender to my will.
this is kind of way to go lessons. I would yeah. So had you saved it for the beginning of this fight, so if you saved coalescence at the beginning of this fight, you could have faded away, jumped over here, landed, used coalescence and beamed down the Genji. And maybe leave it like, and then like maybe like put some pressure on the Reaper to like start heading back towards his team instead of going in deeper. So instead, what ends up happening is like you get kind of like shuffled off over here, and now you have to avoid a lot of damage. And we may have been able to clutch that fight because you would have been able to burn down the Genji. Because then the Genji would have been forced, instead of trying to focus me down, you would have been the bigger threat than I would have been. And then I might have been able to stop Death Blossom. No, I wouldn't have been able to because I already used